Welcome to today's channel. Today's an interesting experience for me. I've decided to sit quietly in with Spirit and just to ask them a few questions that have been brought to the surface, shall I say, of this human body, this human one who wishes to understand of just what's going on and how I am to interact and relate to the going on, shall I say, with today's world. And I'm sure that many of you have come across certain circumstances or conversations that have led you to a place of self-inquiry, I guess you could call it, of that. So today I'm just going to allow for Spirit to come through and allow for some of my own personal inquiry to come through. Thank you. It is in this divine essence, dear one, of which it is that we are to flow through in this place of proposition, to be found, to be yours, to sit into as a place of questioning, a place of to query, and a place of suggestion, shall we say. For it is in this and it is of this that the many of you are being allowed to be dragged into or pulled into this awareness of self-analysis, a place of self-judgment and a place of overall judgment to be applied to this perspective of which it is that you are consumed by. It is in this allowance, dear ones, that we are to offer and to interject here, to be this place of presence, to feel this power, divine expression within you that is to become your connector back into, to feel of self, to become magnetized or pulled back into this central self, to be this deliberate speaker of a truth divine from within, a truth that is an essence within, that is to far outweigh, that is to superimpose itself upon all that are willing to listen. For it is in this imposing upon that the many of you are to feel as though maybe not worthy or able to, or in a place of offering, shall we say, to have heard. But it is in this knowing that the many of you are to feel qualified, that the many of you are to feel a determination rise from within in this aspect of self, to walk and work and to offer. For it is in this place of deep respect that the many of you are to become accustomed to again, to become a realization within oneself that this is you, in this presence of deepest recognition, to feel as it is to flow out of you in a sense of abundance and overwhelmment, to be felt as an offering, to be received, to be accepted, and most importantly, to be acknowledged. It is in this essence of which it is that this channel, this host, has become accustomed to a certain understanding into which it is that emotions of a human concept are rising to the surface and being allowed to be a contribution outwardly into a essence of self to speak out as a deliberate way or form in which it is to try and understand or get one's head around the going on, shall we say. It is a pliable version of this self that is being interfered with, shall we offer this word, in a sensing of to become a discreditation within oneself, to be allowed to be challenged by the external chaos and commotion that is being thrown at you, to be thought of as a worthy opponent in regards to this fight, this warring, this stimulus that is being interacted into by the many of you to feel as if a part is needing to be played. It is a willingness that must be felt to come forth out of the many of you, to see of this circumstance, to understand of this as a scenario which is being played out in a deliberate way, and it is in the many versions of you, to be called human-like beings that are willing to contribute, that are willing to participate, and that are eager to be a part of this grand scheme. And it is in this grand scheme that the many of you have committed. You have committed upon your becoming here, this transition again into this life force reality where you must interact on a deeper level, shall we say, for it is a level of depth. It is a level of density that has pulled you or weighted you down so that you may feel of all these interactions, these emotions, and these participations into which it is that you are in constant contact with. It is a realigning within oneself that many of you are coming into an awareness of, or an understanding of, that one must do to pull of self back away from the external extremities, shall we say, the environment that is being projected outwardly by many of you to perceive of it in this way. For it is in this earthly aspect that many of you have so chosen to be deliberate in this powerful expression of which it is that you feel to be for or against. And it is in this determiner within that has become the challenger, that has become the equalizer, shall we say, the one that is choosing to balance of self on either side. It is to become a commitment from within that the many of you are to reside within oneself, a place or a voice to speak, to allow for this wisdom of wise truth to come to the surface, to be spoken of not only within oneself loudly, but outwardly, so that all that come in contact or connect with you may know your stance, your opinion, and your ground of which it is that you are to place self into. For it is of many eyes and perceptions, is it not, that the many of you are looking through, to be allowing of self to be channeled and pinpointed through into a version of the speaker that you are interacting through or into, and allowing their words, their emotions, their fears, and their suggestions to become of your own. But know of this, dear ones, it is a place of residing within you, a centering, a stone of conviction that you must stand upon, that you must find yourself allowing self to stand back onto. For it is in this decided way that you came, and it is in this version of yourself to see that you are responding to. It is in this deep desire from within, the becoming of all that is, that you came equipped with this viable source, if to call of us to be that, this knowledge of truth and power, this expression of love to be spoke in earnest and kind and love. It is a peaceful contribution of which it is that the many of you are here to achieve, to see, aspiring into, to watch as it appears upon the horizon, so that you may feel the eagerness and the grand excitement that is to take over this physical form, in a knowing that it is all okay, in a knowing that the sun will rise on that horizon again, that you are to feel this interjection of grand love to experience, that you are the very lighted beings that are here to interpret and interact in this exact moment of your suggestion of it to be yours. For it was a requirement, was it not, from this soul essence to speak these words, to feel this retaliation, to be consumed, to find of self, to be in this learning process, this experience like no other. For it is in an impressionable world or reality of which it is that you are to dwell into. It is an aspect, a fraction of this self that is choosing to be entitled in this way, we shall call it to be. For it is in this entitled way of which it is that the channeled version of you is to flow through, the lighted aspect, the pathway or the runway of light that you are to stand into is to shine brightly again, to be reignited in this presence of who and what it is that you are. For you are all to feel your way here. It is to become a place of common sense, shall we say, that the many of you are opening your eyes to and turning on your hearing apparatus to feel as the contradictions are being discovered and being allowed to be revealed slowly, we will add. For it is a slow process that the many of you are watching and waiting and seeing as it is deliberately unfolding into an aspect of correction. For it is of correction into which it is that the many of you will start to notice. It is a correction within oneself to pull of self back out of the shadows, shall we say, and allow for self to stand into this proud moment of self to see, to be a willingness to speak these words of love so grand, to see of self in this God's seat, shall we call of it to be that. For it is an illumination of which it is that you are radiating out of, and we ask of you to not forget this as a statement of desire in which it is that you made to this essence, in this soul's voice, in this being of love, to remember. And it is in this radiating out that we are to witness the many of you with a heart that is to become wide and open, that are willing to speak these words. This translation as it comes through, this host channeling Tanya in this way as an essence of all it is that she is, to feel of this democracy, shall we say, that is to overrule and feel as to overpower the many of you to a place of uncertainty. But it is in this dominating sense within you that is to overrule and override all sense of fear and doubt. For it is not of regret that this one is to have come here to speak. And it is in this previewing, shall we say, that the many of you will feel this resonance to rise from within, to speak these defined words of commitment to self, to be an alliance, to be a truth speaker, to be a lighted being that cannot be clothed or shut down. For it is in these words of love, dear ones, that will be a congregation, a collectiveness, a gathering of sorts, to form this powerful willingness to see this and to override this essence of all it is that appears to to appear to be in control. For it is not of control, dear ones, that this is to be the end of this that we see. For it is a willingness from within to fight this powered structure that is implementing this damage upon the earthly plane. And it is of this that we speak, that we are the generated beings of love and light that are here to express this as an understanding into all it is that we wish to play. For it is a participation by many dear ones that are being held up by the thought of failure, by the thought of unable to progress. But it is a commitment within you that is strong, that is here to override and overrule this misconception. For it is in truth that they have simply forgotten the belief within oneself, the unity and the unisons within all that shine and beam. And it is in this powerful way that your earthly plane will be taken back again, that your earthly view will become open, one of peace and congregation again, a deliberate essence from within that is reunited, that is passionate, and an extremist almost to call of it to be a word that you would know, to recognize this self as a powerful player, a powerful contributor. For it is in not only yourself to be this grand creator, but the collective of all it is that are participating here in this warring of worlds, shall we say. And it is in an elimination of those that are to reside at the top, to feel as though they have a condense upon you, to feel as though they have you held down. It is to say of this that they have assumed wrong. For it is of us in our powerful willingness to play that we are here in a major participation, to be felt as an exaggeration that is to rise on up from within those of you that have chosen to stand in your light or switch your switch back on, so you may be recognized as the voice of the people, the spokesperson of this planet. We are in this essence to come through in this way. And it is in this strength of responsibility within this channel, Tanya, that we are to feel these words being formed, to be allowed to be spoken outwardly in a place of such heartfelt respect for all it is in this love that is needing to be spoken of in this way. Our messages of truth are a designation within this one who has accepted this role to speak this way, to be felt as a force, a knowing, and a place of utmost respect. And it is in this allowance, dear ones, of which it is that we are to come forth in this way, to feel this energy flow outwardly, to be a form of recognition by you, in us, in all it is that we are to be. Always loving in this essence of which it is that we are to speak this way. I needed that, did you not? To be always reassured, to be always this commitment into of love. That is all that I ever feel. I know in a human body or a human perspective, we are dragged through the mud, so to speak. We are made to confront everyday feelings and emotions that are going on. Is that not right? It's part of why we're here and what we chose to interact, to experience, to be. But the loving essence within us, the loving essence within you, is participating in a much grander way. And it is in this grand way that I love the human experience of sitting into a conversation that is channeled through spirit, knowing that the emphasis that they place within my body to receive and to feel is beyond words, beyond human emotion to understand. But it always brings me back, centers me, and brings me a place of peace and calm. And I hope that you feel this, maybe even just a little bit, when you allow yourself to connect again, to recognize this beautiful essence that lays within you, this essence that's always spoken of as love and only love, to find your kind forgiveness. This is the process that allows me to get through each and every day, to pull me back into this awareness of something way more grander than what tenure is here on this earthly plane, and to understand that I am a greater part, I am a greater contribution, and I am a greater aspect of all of you out there. Thank you for your time today. I hope this has taken you just into a more softened state, shall we say. And until we get to experience these beautiful messages again, take care, look after yourself. We will speak again soon. Thank you.